So we can talk about anything. I do have a video that I have not shown. I can show you guys. I'm actually, I think, have all you guys been to one of my other panels so far? I think you guys all have been to one, right? So you probably saw, I'm going to skip some of these videos I got in here, but I'll play this one for you. Hold on. But I got to turn off this Mario music. It is pretty good though. I love Mario music. This is my intro.
Here we go. One more time. I like crabs.
That is a song I wrote, and then I hired somebody to sing it because I can't sing or speak Japanese. And then I hired a guy who composed on Fiverr, that composed music, and he was really excited about it. And so I worked with him and this girl that sang the English and Japanese version. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Okay. And I animated it pretty much the entire thing in After Effects on stream, and it took about 3 months. And it was towards the end of it, I was like, my brain was not even ready. I was like, I would take days off, and then I'm like, okay, I got an idea. Let's do this. And then I'm like, okay, I'm really bored again. I got to do something else. And it eventually got done. I mean, I'm really glad I didn't write more than a minute-long song because that thing would have taken forever. This was before I had all the other characters rigged, most of them, so I couldn't do the animations with just Face ID or like the rig. But I actually had to build a muscle structure and rig in After Effects for each character so I could animate a little faster, which is faster in the end for animation, but takes way longer for the setup. But now I have it, so Capt Crabs, I can animate and do mouth movements and all that stuff in After Effects. And I did it all on stream, which was kind of crazy. It was a long 3 months, but it was fun. Yeah, I love this picture. Yeah, so you guys have all heard who I am. I'm trying to think if there's more to tell you guys. This panel is just for like a Q&A because they really wanted me to do a Q&A. And it can be about anything. So like, you guys know I worked 18 years in the game industry, a bunch of companies. I also did compositing for TV and film, worked on Ruby and Red vs. Blue. I have a compositing reel I can show you guys if you guys want to see it. I can't remember if there's any spoilers in it, but it is a few years old. So I just want to preface that before you watch it. There's a bunch of breakdowns of Ruby shots in it, but they are from like season 3 through 5. So if you're not caught up by now, it's kind of your own fault at this point. It's because this has like been a while. But I can show you guys that if you'd like to see it. It's where is it? Yeah, here's some of the games I worked on, and some of the TV shows. My IMDb has a lot more, but it's I don't know. You work on a lot of shows when you work in Hollywood. Let me tell you, just like especially you work in TV, it's like you could be on 5 shows in one day. So, literally painting out pimples on a kid on the Disney Channel, and then like painting out a cameraman out of a window in Castle or something like that, or making somebody look like a dead body, or putting VFX or a dome across something. It gets a little crazy, but yeah, I'll show you guys this. It is a lot of compositing breakdown. For anybody who doesn't know what compositing is, it's post-production. So you do everything a lot of times from color correction you're basically finalizing the shot. So an animator can animate a shot, give it to you, and you will see some pre-post stuff in here, especially with the Rooster Teeth stuff. And then basically you do everything to it. Everything from like rotoing out blemishes frame by frame for every single frame for a shot to, I mean, I do a lot of VFX stuff, so like I did like virtual rain in Ruby and stuff like that, or particle effects, or skids, or like generated smoke when they hit the ground, and stuff like that. You'll see some of that in here. Compositing is very time consuming. It's done in After Effects and Nuke. Do you have a question about it? Oh, hey, he's just wondering if you could have the conversation somewhere else because he can't hear me. You guys are good. You're good. Oh, it's all good, man. But yeah, so like it's a lot of that kind of stuff. It's fun. It's just very time consuming. Rotoscoping is the biggest pain in the butt. You will hate it. Like nobody likes it. It's like I worked on a season of 24. It was the last season with Keith Sullivan in it, and the guy has a drinking problem. The actor. He fell on a pole before filming, and he had a hole in his head right here. And instead of putting makeup on it, they just had me rotoscope it out in every single frame of the entire season in 4K footage, well, 5K footage. So literally, the main character in the close-ups of every shot and shaky cams and all that crap, and I had to go frame by frame and paint this hole out of his head. So there's a fun side to it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff. Like people would do crazy stuff because it's faster to pay somebody to do it in post than it is to like refilm it, Or it's probably cheaper, honestly, because the actor's time is more expensive than the post time. So, but anyways, I'll show you this reel. The music's kind of annoying on it, but it goes kind of fast. So. The show on the bottom, but it's kind of hard to see. Sorry, this wasn't made for this. It's a reel. Yeah, it's like when I try to get jobs and stuff doing this. This is like a few years old though. Like that whole thing is done in post. Even the globe, the like sparkling globe, is 100% After Effects, like generated, fake 3D wasteland. That's what the shot looked like when it got rendered out. After post. Disintegration, because I was one of the only guys that knew particles at the time. So like I was disintegrating everything. Sometimes put like a temp effect, like a still image of an explosion where they want you to put an explosion. Just as like a reference, and then you have to comp it out. Put your own real explosion. That's 100% After Effects. This is some logo stuff. Attack the Cat. It was cats versus dogs in space. It was amazing. We literally green screen dogs and cats from ships, but they never did the final render. That's that Elder Scrolls Online. That's all in After Effects as well. Yeah, well, that's some of the stuff. Like just a little bit of it. There's not. There's a lot more to this stuff. Oops, I guess that was on my last slide. Okay, let's go back to this one. Yeah, I mean that's just like a taste of what compositing is. Like, it's hard to explain because everybody thinks you're singing composing when they think it, and you're like, oh, you make music. I'm like, not even close. Like, it's all video, it's all post, but basically you just make other people's work look really good is what we always said. Like, because the animators do the animations, but then you never know what it's going to look like, and so they always get really excited to see what you do with it because they have no effects, they have none of that stuff. Some companies have their own VFX companies or they have their own VFX team. At Rooster Teeth, we had 2 guys, and all they focused on at first was building destruction, things they had to have actual physical sims for. You know, like if a building broke and they needed big chunks. Because you can fake that in After Effects, but it's not real simulation. But we like had to do all the disintegrations for, I should say, I did a lot of them myself, actually. Originally, there was only 3 of us, so the team was very small when I got there. And that was season 3, and they were just ramping up, and it was like, they had to come up with ways to disintegrate. We had lost Monty's, and he was doing all of the effects originally in animation. And that was like, I think maybe 6 months after he died that I started. And so they were like desperate. We need compositors. We don't have anybody. Carrie was doing it. Carrie Shawcross, the director. He was doing compositing, and Gray. And, they're like, we need a team. And so it ended up being, I always jumped on the VFX stuff because I love VFX. So like anything fire or like fire or particles or disintegrations. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. It depends. Every good compositor has a massive collection of stock footage. There's like banks you can buy of just like most companies keep, like they'll just buy thousands of them of like keyed out explosions and stuff. The only problem is you can never use those things bare bones. Like you put like I'll put an explosion in. And then I'll put it as an additive layer, then I'll put another layer and another layer where it's blown out and blurred to glow, and you want to make it like look like it's actually there, so it has to affect the background. You're basically faking real light, and it's like there's a lot of tricks to it. It's stuff you learn over time from doing it. I was taught to do a lot of compositing by an ILM guy. He was like at ILM for 10 years, and he taught me a lot of it. He happened to be working at a game company I was working at, so yeah. A lot of my overlays, I would say a lot of my overlays you can trigger. I had to take away a lot of them, mostly because they weren't kid friendly. I have one called Baygasm, which is, it's basically, it just says Baygasm, and it's just a whole bunch of explosions and airplanes crashing, and it's really cool, but it doesn't really fit the family-friendly stream with the name on it. So my twin brother was very upset when I removed that one because he keeps still trying to type it still, and I'm like, it's not there, dude. It's not. Stop typing it in my chat, please. But yeah, I mean, I use it for that kind of stuff. I used it a little bit in the opening for like water splashes and stuff like that. There's a lot of tricks to it. I've done a lot of green screen and stuff like that too. I don't think it translates as much, but I know a little bit more about rigging because of After Effects rigging, and that translated when I was learning Live 2D because it's a 2D program, and so is After Effects. So they call it 2.5D, but it's 2D. So because it's like looks 3D but isn't 3D kind of thing. So that translated. I also learned Nuke, which is the industry standard. It's put it this way, if you have $3,000 burning a hole in your pocket and you want to learn Nuke, yeah, here you go. It's so expensive that only studios have it. It's like, it's not a good one to learn as a student, but it is the industry standard. They use it everywhere because you can have multiple copies of Nuke open. You can, it's very fast compared to After Effects. It renders in almost real time when you do it. It's node based, which I'm not a fan of, but because I'm used to linear, like After Effects is linear editing. But like on Laser Team, we use Nuke, and then on almost every single TV show is Nuke on that. So I think the only TV show I worked on in Hollywood that wasn't using Nuke was the Thundermans, the kids superhero show, and they had like laser blasts and stuff, like because they're superheroes, and I do that all in After Effects. And there was only 2 of us working on it because only 2 of us were After Effects people. Everybody else had been trained in Nuke, and I was like, yeah, I know After Effects. So I did a lot of late nights working on that show because it was like all this after hours work because they were just like, there's only 2 guys that could do it. So get the other work done, then you can stay late and we'll pay you for extra time. So, but it was a lot of like really dumb things like freezing doorknobs and like freezing breath and like laser beams shooting people, but you can't injure them because they're kids. It's a kids show on Nickelodeon. So Nuke is, After Effects is still heavily used, but it's gone more into the motion graphics side of things. Like Rooster Teeth still uses it; they don't use Nuke, but Nuke's a huge investment, and so the big studios use it, but like even Rooster Teeth, like paying $3,000 for every compositor, and they could have like 18 compositors. It adds up, and that license, it can get more expensive than that because you need server render farms, all this other crap. It's pricey, and then plugins on top of that. So, and that I've probably spent $5,000 in plugins for After Effects alone over time. So, then you have to buy the updates. So, yeah, but there's a lot involved in it, but it's an investment, when you're doing it. So. Any other questions? Yeah. Oh, what'd you say? I could go into Rooster Teeth if you want me to. There's ups and downs. Yes, I would say Lucasfilm. Don't work with Lucasfilm. I worked on Star Wars: The Republic for 4 years. It was LucasArts at the time, but that we dealt with. But they're so strict, and it's such a pain in the butt, those guys, that I just tell everybody, please don't work on a Star Wars game. It's not worth it. You're going to be so miserable. Like I had to do, for Star Wars: The Republic, there's like these intros to all 8 classes, and I made all the intros. They're actually animated videos of ships flying down to the planets, and then there's the Star Wars crawl, and I had to make all of that. It was all done in After Effects. And the Star Wars crawl was one of the biggest pain in the ass I ever did. Like, because it had to be 100% accurate. Spacing of the words, the right angle. Like, literally, I was creating it over top of the movie scroll to make sure it looked right. And LucasArts, I should say, actually, probably both on that one, were just like, nope, it's wrong. It's like off by this little tiny bit or whatever. Like, there's a spacing problem here, and I had to do all 8 of them, and it was like... And that's probably why they've never redone it. It's been in the game for 10 years. Like, I'm like, why haven't they updated this to like a higher res thing or something? It's like nobody wants to touch it. Like it's like, it was such a pain. And so they're still in the game. So all 8 intros. So, but yeah, that sucked. It did. It was cool. I got to go to ILM 3 times. I was supposed to be working, but I just basically got to tour around and take pictures and stuff. And they had the big Vigo painting on the wall, which are from Ghostbusters, like the giant thing. They had the Scolari brother puppets, and man, they had Han Solo's outfit in the case, and it was just like, oh, it was heaven. It was so cool. And there's just like stuff thrown in corners in that building. They just don't care. It's like their dump zone for their extra props. Like there was like a boat model from Cocoon that was just like disintegrating. It was like right next to the elevator, just like sitting there. And there was like the Lemony Snicket's house, which is this giant prop, just in a corner, like just like thrown in the corner in a hallway, like because like they just like dump stuff. And like, Star Wars stuff they would cycle around because it was in cases and it would go back to the archives, but like. It was pretty interesting. Also, they have a place called Java the Hutt. They have an internal coffee shop that's free, and it's called Java the Hutt, which I thought was really funny. It was cool. It was really cool to see. Steven Spielberg was there when I was there. I didn't run into him, but they said he's walking around, so they're like, don't make eye contact if you see him. Like, nobody's supposed to talk to him besides, like, the high-ups, yeah, it was an experience for sure. But yeah, that's probably the number one company I would say. If you can avoid it, probably you're not going to enjoy it. They're just very strict and it's kind of a pain. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah? Yeah, go for it. talking. Honestly, probably talking. In high school, I was very shy. Like, I was the geeky guy who played video games because I grew up in a town of 600 people. We had nothing to do. We didn't even have a gas station. Like, we had to drive a half an hour to cross the border to Iowa to go to a movie or get gas. And so I just played video games, and I was super shy. And then after high school, like, I just didn't care anymore. Like, I was like, I just don't care. I need to do something. And I was going, like, job to job. Like, I was at Staples and Blockbuster and all these, like, just retailers, quitting them every 3 months. I just couldn't focus. And then I woke up one day and I was like, I gotta do something. I gotta do something I want to do, and start doing web and got addicted to it. Made a website for my what was the first one? It was a website for my tavern in Ultima Online. I had a tavern. It was awesome. Black Mantle Tavern, it was called. It was so cool. And then I learned doing that by looking at people's source code of their site. I didn't learn from a book. I didn't learn from tutorials. This is before YouTube. And so I literally was looking at people's source code and just reverse engineering it. And I learned it that way. And to me, that worked really well. It wasn't somebody teaching me. I was learning on my own. I learned to do PHP, ASP, Perl, all from doing that. Like, just reverse engineering the code and just kind of like piecing it together myself. And but web design became more of a, like, eventually I started going to pure coding because that's where the money was, and I couldn't do it. It was just too much looking at code. Like, there was the graphic side is what I enjoyed. Like, I loved building a back end that was running the front end that I created. Like, something would infect the graphics and sorry, my voice is going away. And so, like, I got out of that and started doing the video and went to school for it. And yeah, it was a different experience, I guess. I really enjoyed it, but I totally lost sense of what the question was. Can you say it again? What was it? Skill. Yes, so talking-wise, yes. So when I was at BioWare, the marketing guys liked that I was very good at what they call marketing speech, which was telling what they want you to tell people, but I didn't sound like a douchebag. So you get this marketing guys who are marketing guys in suits, right? The guy who's like, this is our game. These are the key factors. Here is why you will like the game. And you're like, get away from me, especially at PAX, right? But people don't want to hear that. They're gamers. They're just like, yeah, just leave me alone. Let me play the game or something, Well, I was the guy who would be there who wouldn't spoil anything. And that was the important part, because a lot of devs are really bad about saying things you're not supposed to talk about. I was very good at doing that, but relating to the person who I was talking to and being genuinely excited about it, because I was always really excited to see people enjoy the game I was working on. And so they kept sending me to do that, which I got better at talking. I became more outgoing. I was like, yeah, now I can talk to people. I can be in a crowd. I can do this and this. And that kind of just over years, of doing it, I kind of broke out of my shell. I was no longer scared to talk to anybody. Celebrity, didn't matter, just throw them at me. They were just another person, like I was just working with these people, and yeah, I think that grew out really well. Like, I never went into being that marketing guy because I never wanted to be the suit that was just giving the spiel, like I wanted to be making the art for the marketing. But I love doing trailers. Every year I do the trailer for E3, and we put it up on the giant EA screen, this freaking ridiculous size screen. And watch it, and that was awesome to me. Or they rented out the theater a few times, and they had this big production, and they put it up, and that was awesome. And I was so excited about it that they loved sending me, because I was actually, like some game developers are just like, whatever, just, get it out there, and I hope nobody hates it. And I was just like, yeah, I love it. I love seeing people's reaction. I'm, passionate, so I got better at talking to people, and that, I think, is probably the strongest skill I got from that, in my opinion, that I'm proud of. So, yeah. Oof. Good thing I don't need my voice to DJ. What'd you say? So it starts at 10 o'clock, but there's a Latin DJ first. Well, I guess there's actually a guy there. We thought it was just like a Latin dance party thing, but there's actually a Latin DJ, which sounds kind of cool. So I'm like, I want to see what this guy is. And then it goes from 10 to, I think, 1, but there's like 5 of us now, so. They got a VJ too, which is kind of cool, doing projections. I guess they're hooking us up, so it sounds pretty awesome. And they moved the other DJs, the big name DJs, to Friday night, so we didn't have to compete with them anymore. So that's awesome. Otherwise, we would have been doomed. It's like they were going to play at the same time as us on the main stage, and we were like, no, like don't do that. So, but yeah. Other than that, I mean, like, you know, I've worked in games for a long time. I mean, I dabbled in pretty much everything, but I kind of like drew my focus into marketing just because I like making videos. You know, like I like filming a game, making it look cool, but like also like half of what we do is make videos internally too, because we have to excite the team. We'll have a team meeting and they're like, show off the new features, because you work on a big team, especially on big teams like BioWare. There's like 500 people. Well, I would walk around and talk to people. What are you guys working on? You know, like the animators, what's new? What can I show? You know, like, can you guys hook me up with something new? You know, and I'd show that, you know, like they'd hook me up in a way to spawn it or something and film it, because nobody's seen it, right? The only people who've seen it is the animators. And so the teams would get excited. And it's kind of like being like the cheerleader for your team, you know, like you're literally getting excited, and you'd watch their faces and they're like, oh my God, that's in the game, you know, because they don't know, you know, everybody's got their own meetings. The team's so big that you just don't see the things that are in the game. And I think it was just as important to get the team excited about what they're working on, because, you know, the hours can get long sometimes and you could be burned out. And, you know, those things would like always light a fire under them, and they'd get back in the game. You're like, yeah, I'm excited to do it again. Let's do it. You know, let's get this better. And I think that's super important. I wish more game companies did that, to be honest, did the internal videos. And like, we always make sure, like now at my current one, that we show the trailers we make, you know, no matter how corny they are, if they're like gameplay or not, you know, like we don't do internal trailers, but we do like show the trailers ahead of time to the teams and stuff every week. But I think that's just as important. You literally need to cheerlead the team and make them excited, because you're seeing things that others aren't. And, you know, in video, we get to see every team's stuff, basically, you know, especially at BioWare. But the social skill I was talking about, like going to talk to people, I actually got an award for it when I was doing web design. Yeah, so I got an award. This company out of Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, I worked at, they were called Anderson Creative. They were a web design company. They were doing like Boeing 747 and a bunch of big websites. And they hired me as a programmer, and I was the only programmer that would leave the office. Everyone just sat in the office, and they would instant message people. And every time I needed something from Art, I would just walk over to Art and talk to them. And Art was creeped out. They called me the anti-programmer, because I was the only one that went and talked to people, but I got it done twice as fast if I just walked over there and said, what do you need? Show me what you need, I'll do it. And the other guys would like send messages for an entire day before they figured out what they wanted. And, you know, I was just like face to face, like this fast, they can literally show me what they want. We don't have to like, you know, avoid each other. And not every programmer, but a lot of programmers do fall into that little antisocial bubble. It's very common, unfortunately. And they just don't socialize. And, you know, I was just a little weird on that sense, because I was a little more on the outgoing side. But that translates. Like, it was really helpful to go around and talk to the team, especially at BioWare, and, you know, like, what are you guys working on? What, you know, like, so I was in the know before anyone else, you know, like, and those teams would be very excited, like, oh my God, I want to show this new animation I did. And sure, yeah, might not make it in the game, but whatever, it looks cool, you know. So, like, they do a lot of dances, stuff that didn't make it in the game, but they got to show it off, and so, you know, it was cool. I liked it. It was fun, you know. It was fun to see people's reactions to anything you make, honestly. Even with Capt Crabs, that translates to Capt Crabs. So, like, every time I make something new, like the hot tub, it's like, I wonder what people's reactions are. I wish I could see their faces, to be honest, though. You know, like, it's different when you're seeing just chat, but like, if you get a reaction, that's always worth it. You know, one reaction that's like laughing, or like when I was DJing last night, like somebody comes in and said, what am I watching? I'm like, yeah, here you go. That's a good reaction. Was that you? I love that. I love that, because I'm like, somebody's going to come in and say, what is this? You know, like, what's going on? So I thought that was funny. And anytime I get a reaction of any kind, like, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a reaction, you know. So it's also a marketing thing, by the way. Just everything kind of ties into that, but for branding and stuff. You want a reaction. You want a reaction, good or bad, but you want them to notice something is different. So, yeah. But anything I can do to make it, you know, stand out. And I'm always trying to think of new ideas of things to do, especially with VTubing, that could be different. Like, I did a pajama party recently. That's what I've been doing. I've been testing the waters with it. I built like a scene where it's basically a pajama party. It's a bunch of pillows and like a fort, like a sheet fort. And what I'm doing is I'm inviting other VTubers and just literally talking for 4 hours about nothing. and it's worked. Like we've had decent turnout. Like people just, I thought for sure, I was like, man, I don't know, because these are random people I've never had a collab with, and I'm like, I don't know if they can talk for 4 hours. I mean, I could talk for 4 hours. I don't know if they can, like, but I made sure I picked people I got along with. They didn't have to be well known. And now I'm getting some bigger ones that want to do it. So, because it's like, it's different. Like there's talk shows, but this is literally just hanging out, and it's comfy, and like people are just like, it's a pajama party. Let's just hang out and talk. And, we talk about everything, and it seems to be going pretty good. So we've done 2 of those, and that was kind of cool. I'm just always trying to do something new and see what it does. I did the underwater yoga. That was fun. I haven't done that in a while, but I'm trying to remember what else I did. I did a few other things too, but I have a list that I have not gotten to of stuff to do, including a full magical girl transformation sequence, which is going to be animated. I have the whole thing flushed out and storyboarded. I just have not had the time to do it. It has the whole Sailor Moon transformation, like the arms going out with the glow, and the stars sparkling in it, and the bow going whoosh and growing out. Yeah, so every time somebody triggers magical girl outfit, it's going to trigger that. Instead of me just going to that scene where I'm just like, into the outfit, it's going to literally play that full animation. And when it comes back, it's me in the outfit. So it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited about it. It's just really time consuming, and I have not gotten to it yet. It's been on my list for 8 months though, so we'll see when I get to that. But yeah, I'm always trying to come up with something new. I mean, you got it, right? On Twitch especially, you need to break it up every once in a while, or do an event, or do something different just to get new audience in, or to just spark a little bit of return interest, so yeah, what's up? Oh. So this may sound like counterproductive if you watch a lot of people's advice videos. I will warn you, a lot of people that give advice on YouTube, look at their actual numbers. Like I'm not going to call it specifically, but there's this guy I was like watching, and he puts out an insane amount of videos about how to grow on Twitch, blah, blah, blah. It's all the clickbaity stuff, like here how to get 0 to 80 followers. And I looked at his followers, and he has like 2,300 followers. It's not high number. He's not a partner streamer. Like, I'm like, he's making videos, but he's not that experienced yet. Like, he's not he's not the expert in it. But a lot of them do that because it grows on YouTube. Their YouTube grows really fast for those videos because people are looking for them, right? Even I look for those videos just to see what people are saying. My opinion, and what I've heard from especially a lot of partner streamers, is you technically only need to stream a minimum of 3 days a week. You probably want to do a minimum 3 hours though, and I won't lie, the more you stream, the better. But it's more important to have a consistent schedule than it is to actually stream all the time. I've seen people that will pull like 8 to 9 hour shifts or 12-hour days and just randomly throughout the week whenever they want, and just pull a lot of hours, like put in like 60 plus hours a week and not grow at all. So, I mean, it's the consistent schedule that people know you're coming back at that time, even if it's something different. I'll admit sometimes I can't do more than 2 hours. I'll just do 2 hours. I'll do what I can, but I'm there on that time, and that's the more important part. And most people are really cool about it. They're just like, oh, that's cool. At least we got to see you. We'll see you next time. I'm gonna be back Wednesday. Make sure you always tell them when you're going to be back. By the way, very important. Yeah, I mean, really, I would say don't do under 3. Find out what days work for you. There's actually a website called Twitch Strike. Have you gone to that one yet? If you're on Twitch, let's see if I can pull it up. My internet's a little wonky right now. I don't know if it's gonna let me log or check it, but let's see. Let's see. Oh, here it is. Okay. Sorry, I'm on the hotel Wi-Fi right now for some reason. I couldn't get the other one to work, so what Twitch Strike is, it's only set up for Twitch, but mostly because of the streaming. What it does is you can log into it. It just logs into your Twitch. You can put what games you own, or like say what games you play on a regular basis. or you can even put art and stuff, and it breaks down everything in the graphs of what's popular at the time. So what a lot of people will do is like an hour before their stream, if they don't know what to play, they look on here and it'll give you ratios. This is how many viewers there are watching this category. This is how many people are streaming it. And it like makes it red if it's like there's way more people streaming it than viewers, or like the other way, green because, hey, there's a lot of viewers watching this, but there's not. There's a lot of things you got to be careful on because you got to look and see, is it one streamer that has all the views because he's a big streamer? Because you may not want that, But then you could also look and see, when did he come on? Like, is he going to get off? Because those viewers are going to go somewhere when he gets off. And if you're the only other person streaming, they're going to you. So like, it's pretty interesting. It's kind of a lot to take in, but it's got a lot of stats. It's really useful. There's actually an insane amount of these stat websites. I have a whole folder of them. I think the best one for Twitch specifically, in my opinion, is Twitch Tracker. The Twitch Track is the only one that shows you what games are the best to play. So like this is like literally Capt Crabs on here, right? My hour streamed this week is really low because I've been here. And your average viewers, it'll go down. It'll tell you like by week, month, all time. One interesting thing though, it tells you like your recent streams, your Mac viewers, followers, stuff like that. It has tracks, but it also tells you by games like what were your most popular nights, like what games are doing better for you and stuff like that. Your most popular clips, famous followers you have, like are on the side, like anybody who's considered a huge one. Like it does. This week is just garbage because I wasn't streaming at all. But yeah. So I've never had a problem with follower gain. Viewers have gone up and down depending on times and stuff like that. For some reason, my followers just grow. I get more followers when I'm offline than I do when I'm on. I think it's word of mouth. I think people just hear about me and they follow me. I may never see them, but they follow me. So it's kind of strange. Like, at the convention, I assumed it's going to go up because people are just hearing me about it the first time, So you can see like hours watched is just, this is what you want, right? You want your graph to only be going up. Like you don't want like my other channel like was like this, blah, 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 like this. And I was like, there's something wrong, like there's actually a few. There's Twitch Tracker. If you want to know like all your social media, there is Social Blade. These are all free, by the way. Social Blade, you can actually do any of these. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. All the major stuff. Mixer's still on there for some reason. I don't know what Storyfire is. It tells your channel views and everything. It gives you a rating. I'm a C+. I was a D, so I went up. Honestly, if you're not in the top like 2%, though, you're not going to be in the A's. And it tells you like your followers for the last 30 days or like, here's a breakdown of how many, like one day I got 27 followers. I got -4 that day. I don't know what happened there. I didn't stream. So like it tells you, I don't know why it says I'm live, but your averages and stuff like that. And then this also has graphs. They're all different. Like each one of these sites is slightly different with a lot more different, like this, you can see this, the monthly gained has gone up and down. May was a really good month. Last year, March was July and stuff was really good. Right now I'm in like the dip, the holiday dip, which kind of sucks. And then it goes up and down. Yeah. Yeah. People are home and they would just watch it. I don't know what it is with Twitch, but like when people are home for the holidays, they're not watching Twitch, but for some reason they're watching YouTube. It could be that they're watching on their phone, but it's supposedly like 80% of people on Twitch watch on their phone. I'm not one of them. I barely ever watch on the phone unless it's the only thing I have with me. Like, I just don't like watching Twitch on my phone. I watch it on my desktop, maybe my laptop if I'm sitting in the living room or something, but it's just, but I usually also have 3 streams up at one time and you can't do that on the phone. I usually have one to support a friend to give them a view or something. Like one I'm actually watching and then maybe one I'm switching between. Or a music stream, a DJ or something that can play the music in the background or something. Like here's another one. This is Sully Gnome. This one is very technical, so I'm not as big fan of this one because it's not as pretty. I don't know. I just don't like that the graphs aren't like, they're like these weird, I don't know. I feel like they're harder to read than like a solid bar graph going up and down. But this one has a lot of information usually, but you have to dig into it. Look at this weird spike. Yeah, these are just January, so 1st to the 8th. You know, it's like a ladder going up. You know, like here's what you like time streamed over the past 7 days. It's been a lot of Stardew Valley. You know, music is here, art, pools, hot tubs right there. Only 1 hour, just chatting. And this is only the last few days though, and I haven't been streaming, but. And then it's like, you know, average views gained. Well, I get the most in hot tubs and I get the most in music for some reason, still the same. And then art follows. And, but yeah, and then there's like, you know, like directory position. This is really confusing stuff. I don't quite understand it myself. It's like your game rank, your Twitch rank at the time. These are like like I said, this Solinome is like, this is written by hardcore number buffs, you know, like that to break down the numbers. So if you're really into the technical side, this site is the best by far. And then there's I think there's one more. Let me see. What's the other one? No, that's the last one. There's also like longest Twitch subs. That's actually more of like a overarching one. And then Twitch Strike. So those are the main ones that people use. I'm a big fan of Social Blade, mostly because you can track all your social media, so you can see if you're, you know, like what your growth is on other things, because you do want to have some social media, at least 1 or 2 that you're focused on. Mine kind of has become Twitter, because Twitter is really big for VTubers. That's like their main thing, I feel like. For art and for like my booth, it's always been Instagram. Like all the people are into art and buying like stickers, stuff like that. It's all Instagram still. Some VTubers I know, TikTok is really good for them. I honestly cannot figure out what I'm supposed to be doing as a VTuber on TikTok. Like I'll put up a meme or a clip, like they'll convert their clips. But I've seen people that just like, they're just on it. They're like getting to every TikTok trend and stuff and doing it as their avatar. And I'm like, that's insane amount of work. Like I just don't, like it's not like you're filming it with your camera, right? Like you're not just like, I can just make a TikTok right now, you know, like make it. You have to actually set it up. You have to film it. You have to like script whatever you're doing. So. You can. So yes and no. There is a way. I'm just gonna turn this off. You guys don't mind. There is a way on your iPad to actually film your VTube Studio on the iPad. Has a way to just film screen, which is kind of cool. If you're gonna do green screening though, you can only pick the backgrounds you have or you added. If you're gonna do green screening or something like that though, it's kind of a little more work. Plus you're gonna have to go into TikTok and do all the overlays and all that crap. It's a little trickier. You can do it, and I've seen people do it. There's one girl I follow. She literally, that's all she's doing. You can tell she's just filming it right on her iPad or phone. And because she's just like talking and, you know, like, would you love me if I was like blah, blah, blah? You know, that's what she does. Her stuff is the lewd tuber content, you know? But it's all mean stuff, you know, and whatever's the popular like TikTok, the dirty TikTok trends basically is what she follows. But she uploads like maybe 3 videos a day. And TikTok told us at the company I work, 3 videos a day is what you have to aim for on TikTok. 3 seconds long minimum. Don't go over 10 seconds, is what they told us. So it's kind of crazy. 3 videos a day if you want to keep up. And that's why I said, nope, I'm not focusing on TikTok. Like it's too much work for me. I put stuff up on it, you know, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with slow growth on there, but I can do 2 posts. Like on Twitter, you want to do at least 2 posts a day. I try to do that. It's not always possible. Always the more content heavy it is, the better it'll do. Like jumping on a trend is always a good thing. VTubers love trends. There's like the VTuber uprising trend. There was the VTuber feet trend, VTuber thighs trend. I mean, the VTubers love anything that's a body part. They call it a horny on main for a reason when they say that. I jumped on the VTuber thighs thread by posting a picture of Capt Crabs' legs with a piece of butter on them, like melting butter. I said, how do you like my thighs? And everyone's like, what? Like, it's so messed up. There's a lot of replies with, where's the Old Bay, you know? That's probably the raunchiest I've ever gone with Capt Crabs, is like putting him in butter. Yeah, like that stuff like is always good. And if you get on those trends that really, I mean, all you need is one good thread to pick up and suddenly you got 1,000 followers and then it grows, you know, like pretty quickly. And, you know, I'll admit I don't keep on it as good as I should, and I've definitely seen other people do it better. I just have so much limited time already, it's hard to jump on that stuff, but you know, I mean, there's a lot. Instagram is another whole art thing. If you're into art, Instagram's really good for art, but it's very saturated and very hard to get into it because it's like it's almost getting old at this point, Instagram. So people are moving away from it to video format and TikTok and stuff. So a lot of people on there are setting their ways and stuff. So it can be a little hard. And VTubers definitely are not that big on Instagram compared to other. I feel like TikTok's got a growing thing with VTubers, and Twitter is definitely the place that they go. And YouTube Shorts. If you want to do good as a VTuber, YouTube Shorts are the fastest growing thing right now. I mean, I put a few up, and they're some of my highest videos already. Because the phone automatically shows you the shorts now. You have no choice in the matter. Like literally when you're scrolling through the feed, it's shorts. Because they're pushing it. They're trying to be the new TikTok. And you have no choice. Like literally, it's like, oh no, another short. Come on, let's go. I saw that on TikTok. I don't need to see it again. Don't repost your TikToks as shorts, by the way. If you edited it in TikTok and it puts a TikTok logo on it, YouTube has a bot that looks for that logo and it'll decrease your views. So TikTok does not want people just reposting TikToks. They want you to make it for YouTube. So if you edit it off of TikTok and it doesn't have the TikTok logo, you're a much better chance of actually seeing it. That's something we were told by TikTok, actually. So kind of weird thing. Yeah, obviously YouTube's never going to mention that. So. But good to know. They just like put you down lower in the queue, like for views and stuff, which kind of is a bummer. But any other questions? Because we've got 15 minutes. Yeah. I was going to do music on stream, relearning FL Studio to do music, but it's such a time-consuming thing. Have a good one. That I haven't done it. The problem is I can get very frustrated when I first start off on software, so I don't want to put a negative stream out there, and so I kind of stopped doing, I think I said this in the branding panel, but I kind of stopped doing brand new content on stream, unless I knew for sure that it was going to be a happy experience. And you never know with software. I did learn Infinity Designer on stream, and I had some frustrating things on there, and I was like, man, that's a bad stream, so I deleted the VOD because I didn't want anybody to see it. Like I didn't put it on YouTube and back it up or anything. I was like, I just don't, like I was like getting a little negative in there. Like when I watched it back, I was like, because I always go and watch my streams back later on, like run them in the background, see, what did I do wrong? Like I was like really negative there. I should not have said anything negative and, or just thought of something else, distracted myself. A lot of people keep a list of ways to distract themselves. Or things to talk about if they run out of things to talk about, especially when you're starting out and you have like one or two people in there. You got to keep talking, so you can't just be sitting there. So you just distract yourself. Put some stuff out there. Talk about the weather. It doesn't honestly matter as long as you're doing something. I always try to get chat involved, even if there's only a few people there. Like, so how was your day? How was your Saturday? Even when I was DJing last night, I was like, so hey everybody, how's it going? How's your party? How's the party? Like, you guys having fun? Kind of thing. Because people love it when you call them out. They really do. Like, they're not there to lurk most of the time. If they're there to lurk, they're just not going to answer. So, I mean, no harm, no foul, right? Never call your lurkers out. Because you can actually turn on some of these bots where you can see the lurkers' names when they come in. Never call them out. You will lose a viewer right away. I mean, I'm a person who will lurk in chats, and if people call me out, I just leave. Like, sometimes you just don't want to be seen or interact. You just want to watch, And, but you just let them lurk. I mean, they're giving you a view. I mean, there's no harm for them to be there. So, but yeah. So.